happened to Skype. But we're on, so nothing else matters. And it's been a while. Hi, Kim. Happy New Year.
It has. Well, Happy New Year. How are you?
Good. Happy New Year, Erik.
He says, "What's up, Mom?" He's blowing you kisses.
Oh, well, it's storming. That's what it's doing. We got some real Texas gully washers going on around us. That's why Bella is scared and sitting in my lap. Well, she does anyway.
Oh.
But anyway, so I thought we have a few interesting topics to talk about today, Erik and Kim, and I thought we'd first start out with one that was submitted by a blog member, humiliation from being rejected. You know, I think that's one of people's biggest fears is rejection, if not the biggest fears. Being rejected spells loneliness, and it also just points to the fact that there's something wrong with you, you're flawed. So let's talk about that, Erik.
Yeah. Oh man, he says he's putting huge energy on this, huge emphasis. This is his way of, when he makes it so big, this is his way of saying, like, this is a big problem for a big amount of people.
Yeah.
A massive problem. I'm going to scoot forward here because I'm hitting my backdrop here and it keeps making this funny noise. He says rejection or humiliation because of rejection comes from here. He says, I'm just going to fly with it because he's talking pretty quick. He says,
slow down so she can repeat your words, Erik.
He says, no, tell her to speed up.
No.
Okay, he says that when you're personal, and he'll break it down and teach us how to do this. But he says when your personal self-acceptance at the core level can transcend anything material, humiliation will be dissolved. Like humiliation through any kind of rejection will be dissolved. But he says if you suffer from humiliation, which I have, he said, Kim, you can share examples if you want, because there's been quite a few ways I was humiliated and went through rejection for a while.
Yeah.
But when your self-love, self-acceptance can transcend that external need for validation, then you have it made. You have it figured out. He says, you're golden. I'm trying to keep him online here. He keeps referring to a movie that was one of his favorite movies, or he's acting like the characters. But anyways, he's being really
The
good.
Outsiders? Be golden, pony boy? Stay golden, pony boy? It was probably that. But yeah, Erik, you were rejected a lot. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. He says when you can shamelessly be yourself, and be yourself without the need of any kind of external validation, you'll find peace. You'll be peace. You'll know peace. He's also talking about to remember, he says, if you feel rejected or if somebody rejects you, it isn't about you anyways. If somebody rejects you or something about you and needs to verbalize that to you, it's something that they haven't realized within themselves yet. Okay, man, this is interesting how he's showing this as he's saying it too. So, for example, I'll share this example with you. It's in my book that'll be coming out. I think it's in my book. Back in grade school, when I was on the bus, I got picked on a lot for this little mole on my lip. And I remember this kid named Scott, I'll never freaking forget it. He said, what's on your lip? And I said, well, my mom said it's a beauty mark. You know, I'm sitting here in like third grade. He's like, well, it sure isn't working. So I picked it off. I freaking picked it off. It was disgusting, right? Well, it came right back. But I learned that I'm going to have to let it go. In the way that he's rejecting me, I'm going to have to let that go because this mole is here to stay. Mm-hmm. So in that, though, you know, went through some counseling with my mom. You know, she's, come here, sweetie, it's okay. I realized that me and me accepting me is where it's at. He can't accept me because he hasn't accepted things in himself. This kid was extremely tall, lanky, you know, much older than me. So why would he pick on me? But anything you have to reject. So for example, another example, he says, if somebody has to make fun of somebody for being overweight, or because okay, this is going to get much deeper.
Brace yourself, people.
He took the vibration's going to get much higher. If it's skin color that you can't see past, if it's weight that you can't see past, no matter what it is or what the differences are, if you are rejecting or being rejected, you haven't realized yourself in another. You haven't realized your own divinity. When you realize your own personal power, your own divinity, you can see it in another. And that, Mom, he says, dissolves and transmutes the need altogether for any kind of rejection to even exist. But
or
if you
judgment, period. Then you stop judging, and then all of a sudden you are part of the whole, and you see everybody as part of the whole.
Exactly, Mom. That's what he says. Exactly, Mom. That's what we need to help people shift. And he's like shifting eyesight. He says we need to help shift what people are focusing on, and get them to realize that if you have to judge that person for being overweight, it's because you haven't accepted yourself and your image yet. It's something you need to work on. If you have to reject somebody because of their skin color, you should work on seeing yourself in that person, because you are that person too. You're no different. So it's a much deeper capacity, Mom, to accept self, to transmute, get rid of rejection, which transmutes. He wants to talk about humiliation though too. He says that will transmute and sort of dissolve any type of humiliation. This is where Erik becomes Erik and really shows his essence. He doesn't hold back, and you guys know that. He says when it comes to humiliation, you have to step up to the plate and own the fact that you're holding on to humiliation. Humiliation is an emotion. It's something you don't have to be a part of if you choose not to. He says whatever. He wants to talk about the body for a minute, the physical body. He says whatever way you're suffering humiliation, remember we're all human. We're all the same. We all have bodies. And humiliation is only experienced because you choose to entertain it. So this, he says, but I know this is a tall order. He says, you have to choose to not entertain it. But this requires a deeper capacity to know yourself. And to know that humiliation isn't a part of you, doesn't have to be a part of you. It's really interesting. It's all because of your need, or even the ego's need to react, that you experience humiliation. And he's kind of like pulling his energy back and like showing, like, I feel like I'm looking separately at, like, over there's humiliation, and I could choose to be a part of that, or I could just accept what is.
Well, what's a practical way to avoid humiliation? Is there a mantra we can say, or is there a series of thoughts we can go through, etc.?
Yeah. He says there's a couple series of thoughts or mantras, however you want to think about it. He says, I accept what is first, and then being able to, this is a really powerful mantra that he wants you guys to think about. I love all levels of consciousness, because if somebody's targeting you, if something's coming at you, if there's, lower levels of consciousness will host humiliation. So that's okay. You can't reject that humiliation, he says. You have to love it instead. That's how you don't become a victim of humiliation. You love it instead of, becoming it. So I love all levels of consciousness. He keeps repeating that. And that will help to transmute, to dissolve. He's showing it all just dissolving away.
So I accept what is, and I love all levels of consciousness.
He says, yeah, because if you think about it, Mom, it's the different levels of consciousness, of course, that provide us polarity that create. That's where rejection finds its way in.
Mm-hmm.
He says. Those are different levels of consciousness. If you can love them anyway, no matter where you are in your consciousness, you don't become a victim of like the collateral effects of those different levels of consciousness. So hopefully you guys are following me.
Love is a position of, I won't say power in the ego sense of power, but it is not a place of victimhood. It's a place of power because you're wielding something powerful. Love.
Yeah, it's a state of being able to see all and understand all,
Mm-hmm.
and accept possibilities too, with all these different levels of consciousness, the possibility of that being humiliation, the possibility of that being despair, grief, whatever, but being able to love all of these different levels for where they are.
Okay.
And not becoming a victim of, just like you said. As soon as you have to employ that and subject yourself to that, he says, that's where he says you guys need to step up to the plate and own your own behavior, where you react. If you react as a victim, you'll be humiliated. You'll experience humiliation. He's just kind of rambling. He says all kinds of crazy shit can happen in your life, but if you choose to react and think, oh my God, I'm so humiliated, or I can't believe I was rejected like that, that's bullshit. He says, you're experiencing it because you choose to. Remember
exactly.
that.
Okay. Anything else before we close? Because I want Kim, I want you to talk to us about the name of your book and when it'll be out too. Because it'll probably be out around the same time that this YouTube comes out. So, but anything else before we do that, Erik?
He's just like showing himself hitting a home run. He says,
I said,
wow, that was intense.
I think you hit a home run. Bases loaded too.
He's proud of himself.
Yeah, you should be.
He's proud of himself.
You should be proud. So, Kim, what's the name of your book? Or have you settled on a title yet?
I have. I actually went to Facebook and asked everybody to vote. It was kind of coming down between two different titles. Inside Out, A Journey to Inner Peace is going to be the title. So I'm hoping it's going to come out in spring or summer. But this is something that my guides have been talking to me about all year. And I just kept fighting them in ego, thinking, I'm not a writer. I don't, I'm not an author. So finally I just surrendered and just let it flow. Yeah. And realized all the stuff I've been through in my life, the crazy stuff I've gone through, seemed to find its place in this book. And I hope,
Say that one more time.
In 2016.
Okay.
Hoping it's 2017 as I say that. Hoping that this book is everybody that's copies events. All my private one-on-one clients. Like, I can't believe the stuff that people have been through, but they're they persevere, they continue. So this book is just to help people find inner peace, no matter what is happening in life. So
awesome. Well, I'm very proud of you. It's like giving birth to a baby.
Thank you.
Writing a book. All right. Well, thank you guys. Y'all definitely need to check it out on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever books are sold, probably. So, but Kim will keep us posted in the radio shows, I'm sure. So, all right, guys. Thank you, and thank you, Erik. I'll talk to you in a second. Bye.
Hey,